So the big question I have for this Bucks-Raptors series is if the Raptors are going to be able to score against Milwaukee. They had problems against the Sixers. Kawhi had to do a lot for them. And, we look at this series now, and the Bucks' defense is amazing. They don't allow shots in the paint, shots at the rim, all that stuff. They dare you to shoot threes, and it's been working for them really well all season. Because even then, they're not easy, wide-open threes. They're top-of-the-key threes, and they're closing out on you and things like that. So, we're going to start with Kyle Lowry. I mean, Bledsoe is probably going to make his day pretty difficult. The Bucks' swarming defense is going to make Lowry's day difficult as well, which means he might have to make a lot of pull-up threes and all that. And, Gasol can set some pretty damn good screens, but still, I think Lowry's got to bring it. I mean, he averaged, 13 points against Philly on some pretty blah efficiency, and some of those games were especially bad. Some of them were better, whatever. I think he's got to score a consistent 16 to 20 points a game in this series on some decent efficiency for Toronto to really have a chance, because if he's not going to be reliable, then I just don't know how they're going to score. That's step one, whether that's getting Lowry more stuff off the ball, especially like some two-man game stuff with Marc Gasol because of Marc's passing ability. Although I do have questions about if Marc can really handle defending the Bucks because they're going to be so stretched out, but I'm going to bring that up a little later. That could be the way to get Lowry some easier points, but he's going to have times where he's just beating Bledsoe off the dribble, or he's beating him on a screen or whatever, and I just don't know if he can do that. I mean, sure, Lowry's still going to play defense, and he's still going to make plays for other guys, but, you got to score. You have to be able to against a team like Milwaukee. Now, when we look at a potential Lowry-Gasol two-man game, we have to question if the Bucks are going to do what Philly did, which was put a wing, in Tobias Harris for them, on Gasol, because the Raptors didn't really kill them for that. They didn't throw it to Gasol in the post. He shot a lot of threes in the series, and there's a chance that he's just hasn't been here long enough to demand that much freedom on offense. But, I guess the equivalent of the Raptors or the Bucks doing this would be, Mirotic defending Gasol and then Brook defending Siakam, just to have that bigger body. Even then, I don't know if that would work as well, because of course Brook is not the defender that Embiid is. Now, if Brogdon starts over Mirotic, and I don't know if he's going to do it early in the series, maybe if the series goes a little longer than I guess, because he's got the health stuff he's coming back from. But then I think the crazy way to do that would be as if you had Giannis defending Marc Gasol and Lopez on Siakam. And again, the idea of Siakam being able to get by Lopez still stands, but if Giannis was defending Gasol, then that could give him a lot of freedom to just go wild on defense. And there's a chance they go to Giannis at center lineups anyway in the series, but if they're going to have the luxury of effectively playing him at center on defense, then that might be too much for the Raptors to deal with, because at that point, you have an alien defending the rim. But I do think whoever Giannis ends up defending in this series is going to be pretty interesting. There's reason to believe that you just put him on Kawhi and call it a day, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the Bucks are willing to gamble with on. Maybe it's Middleton defending Kawhi, and maybe he has a chance there. They're going to defend Kawhi as a team, and they're going to dare Siakam and Gasol and all these guys to make threes, of course, but obviously there's a primary defender, and if they can get away with not putting Giannis on Kawhi, then that's tough for the Raptors, because he'll have a lot of freedom to just kind of do whatever he wants out there. Unless they make their threes, and, there's definitely guys you can dare to shoot. But again, if Gasol has the ball in the post more often, then maybe that's something that the Bucks are not totally planning for. We're going to have to see with that. So, I guess we can move over to the other side of things now. The Raptors defending the Bucks. They do have Kawhi, and there's a chance that he defends Giannis for most of this series. And I guess if there's anybody who can defend that guy one-on-one, maybe it's Kawhi. Even then, as crazy as it is to say, Kawhi might be too small. But even so, the Raptors, they do have a lot of the stuff that the Celtics could do for at least that game 1 against the Bucks in terms of just a lot of size and a lot of people that you can throw at Giannis. But of course, the reason why the Bucks are here is because they have so much shooting around the guy. So, I don't know, that's just really difficult to defend, but maybe the Raptors could actually defend it because of all the big bodies and long arms and athleticism they have. I don't think Marc Gasol is going to be screwed defending Brook Lopez. I mean, they might have to make some adjustments there. Maybe you put Gasol on... I don't know who you put him on. Everybody can shoot, and you're not going to put him on like Bledsoe. So, yeah, Gasol's just going to have to be good at closing out when he has to, or somebody else helping him out. But, you know, maybe the Bucks will be stretched out too much for Gasol. And if that's the case, maybe he just doesn't play as much in the series. Maybe you go more with Ibaka and Siakam, because that might be the only way to really match just all the spacing and all the athleticism. Well, Brook Lopez is not super athletic, so mainly the spacing that this Bucks team could have. And then if Giannis plays center, I don't know if Marc Gasol would have much of a chance there. I mean, teams have tried defending Giannis with a center, and I mean, sometimes it can work in the half court if the Bucks offense gets especially slow, but I mean, if that was a trend, then they wouldn't have bulldozed everybody on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So clearly they have found ways to work around that. The thing is, though, is if Ibaka is out there at center, while you are more athletic and all that, his offense is, are we going to say reliable? Like, do we feel comfortable with the Raptors hoping that Ibaka can make jumpers or go off the dribble occasionally or do any of that stuff? I don't know. I mean, he's certainly not a bad player, and his mid-range jumper is actually excellent, but I mean, what, are 4 or 5 Ibaka 2-pointers a game going to be like the saving grace of the Raptors against the Bucks? I don't know if I can get myself to believe that. But back to the Raptors defense. So I think the chance that they really have in this series is if they find a way to slow down everybody who is not named Giannis. And I just don't know if that's going to happen because I'm assuming those guys are going to get good looks off of Giannis. Now again, the Raptors may be the best equipped team to deal with that kind of stuff because of their athleticism and the number of good defenders they have. But this may be the one team that could be a little too much even for them when it comes to rotating and closing out and all that. And I mean, against the Celtics, the Bucks made 71 threes, which on average is about 14 a game, and that would be the second most in the league behind the Rockets in the regular season. And, you could say, well, that was with Giannis making 7 threes. That is true, but Bledsoe was also pretty bad from 3, and Mirotic was a little below average, and Ilyasova made 1/4 of his threes, and Brook Lopez missed his. So if we're going to assume that things either regress or progress to the mean, then I think that's the stuff that's still going to hold up, like the total threes made and all that. And I mean, at a certain point, like, if Giannis is going to be dropping 30-something and 15 rebounds and all that, and this team is still going to make about, 13 to 16 or 17 threes a game, I think that's just too much to deal with for anybody that is not the Warriors, pretty much. So, yeah, I think the Bucks are going to win. And my favorite thing to do is predict a series goes 6 games, and I think this one will also go 6. So that's my pick. The Bucks beat the Raptors and go to the finals, and it's going to take 6 games to do it.